Okay guys, how's it going, and thank you for joining me for this video. Now this video is going to tackle a topic that's been very prominent in all the comments in regards to anything and every time we talk about Venom. Now obviously in the last couple weeks we've gotten quite a huge amount of Venom stuff happening, specifically with the announcement of a movie coming at us on October 5th of 2018. And the most prominent and popular question I see popping up is, Armin, can you please discuss the logistics of making Venom a rated R movie? Do you think it's possible? Is there any benefit? Do you think Sony will do it? So this is going to be the video on my thoughts and the logistics behind it, and looking at some of the official numbers and what this could mean for Sony. So first and foremost, before we get into the topic of Venom himself, let's talk about the numbers game. Essentially, as you guys remember, and some of you might not remember because you might be too young, the Sam Raimi SpiderMan movies, they changed how people perceived superhero movies. When the first movie came out, it did huge numbers. It was a worldwide phenomenon. That's how many people were seeing it. Like, this movie was the spawn of the modern day Hollywood blockbuster. And I know that's hard to imagine because now everything is a mega event. Back in that day, you were lucky if you opened with 30 or 40 million. When Spider-Man came out and opened with more than 100 million, everybody was shocked. This was something that the world had not seen before. And of course, as you moved on to Spider-Man 2, you saw another gradual increase in revenue, and it was only natural that Spider-Man 3 was projected to be the biggest one. So when Spider-Man 3 ended its theatrical run, a lot of people will criticize it, talking about the scores and everything, how it was a bad movie. In reality though, that is one of the most successful movies of all time. Worldwide, unadjusted for today, it made $890 million. And remind you, this is at a time where 3D was not around yet, and IMAX was so limited, you would have to travel way out of your way to see an IMAX showing. So the fact they did this is quite tremendous. And if you compare it to some movies today, you're thinking that Spider-Man 3 made more than the likes of Batman v Superman, having tickets that are an increase of 30% at theaters, which is pretty ridiculous, and those include 3D and IMAX and 3D IMAX. So Spider-Man 3 still is pretty insane to what it did with its numbers, and so is Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. Now looking at the franchise, which has since been diminishing returns, you have to see that Spider-Man 3 is the highest grossing Spider-Man movie of all time. And we're not including Civil War because that wasn't his movie, that was of course a Captain America movie. And a lot of people say that the reason Spider-Man 3 did so well is because of the use of Venom. Now, when you look at Spider-Man 1, worldwide that movie did 820 million, Spider-Man 2 did 783, and Spider-Man 3 does 890. But arguably, Spider-Man 2 is the best movie. And tracking for this movie really kicked off when Venom was revealed, and that was the big thing because people love this character. Now, Venom is an interesting character considering he's this 90s product, and a lot of people have memories of playing, the Carnage game. I think it was Maximum Carnage, was it? And then there was Separation Anxiety. So, they got their popularity in the 90s, and a lot of people that are my age will remember them fondly from playing these video games and seeing them on everything. Now, when it comes to the whole rated R movie effect, you really have to think of what rated R movies are today. Gone are the days where putting out a rated R movie means you're going to die instantly, and you have to give it a cheaper budget. Now granted, Venom is probably going to have a cheaper budget compared to like a Spider-Man movie, but what you have to think logistically is that this has to target a different market. This isn't a Spider-Man movie, much like how Deadpool was not an X-Men movie. Sure, it's the same occupied area, it's the same general thing, but you're kind of spanning out of there. And when you think about it, if you make Venom rated R, it allows you to stay more true to the character and go more violent. Now it also raises some concerns, yes, that this is Venom, kids won't be able to go see it if it's rated R, but you don't have to do it on that. If you make a good movie and you target at the right audience, and you don't sacrifice quality, then you're going to deliver something that more people generally want. Now the interesting factor here is the one everybody's going to look at is going to be Sony, and has Sony learned from their mistakes? With Amazing Spider-Man 2, they try to target the widest possible demographic there was out there. And yes, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the lowest earning of all the Spider-Man movies, coming in at $709 million worldwide, still beating out most of the big franchises today, but the reception was generally negative for it. So when you think about that, Sony responded to that by making the deal. Now obviously Venom, from what we understand so far, isn't related to the MCU and it's going to be Sony's standalone movie, but this is all on Sony and if the suits have learned anything. If they've learned something, they're going to strive to produce the best possible movie and not sacrifice quality. If that means making it a rated R movie, then they're going to do it. If the suits come in and go, well, if we produce a PG-13, we can sell this much and this, then they're sacrificing quality. Now, the closest competitor to them, they're going to obviously look at Logan and Deadpool. Now, when you look at those, both of those movies are doing tremendously well and did tremendously well at box office. And that can be attested to the quality within those films. If those movies would have been PG-13, they probably actually would have made less money because the story they're telling does not service a PG-13 film. So that's going to be the balance that Sony really has to try to figure out. So in the end of the day, Venom is probably going to be rated R. Although, that could pose a problem depending on the quality of the movie. So they're going to have to fight a very, very, tight balance here, and hopefully they can pull it off.